with Jokir, feeding her, and she responds by being cute and happy, showing off to her cousin. Even though she pretends not to care, she keeps up the display throughout dinner. Later, as they lie in bed, Jokir asks which of them is better. Zhang Yi pets her head and says, "Of course you, it's her." Jokir is his personal doctor, so she's more important, not to mention she's the most beautiful. Zhang Yi kisses her forehead and hugs her as they drift off to sleep. In this cute moment, the protagonist reflects that love is nonsense. Everything is about interests. In the following days, Zhang Yi practices his archery skills daily. At one point, he receives a call on his cell phone. Without caring who it might be, he declines the call and blocks the number. Nothing outside this place matters to him. However, mysteriously, the blocked number calls again, making him furious. How is this possible? He hangs up and blocks it again, but the number calls once more. Now he's driven crazy by it, and then the phone answers the call on its own. The person on the line asks why he won't answer their calls. Zhang Yi listens and learns that the person knows his personal information, including his date of birth, ID number, and everything that should be kept secret. Finally, the caller mentions his mansion. The caller says it's simple. This hacker wants Zhang Yi to provide food, clothing, and drinks in exchange for not spreading his information. The protagonist questions if he really thinks this information is important. However, the chubby man on the other end of the line claims to have evidence that Zhang Yi stole from the Walmart warehouse. If he spreads this, the right and powerful people from the entire city will come after him because they know he must have a lot of food. The chubby guy reveals his identity and where he used to work before the disaster. Even Zhang Yi is aware of the company this hacker works for, so if he knows all this, he might have taken control of the security systems of this mansion. Zhang Yi tries to convince the man that he doesn't have that much food, but it doesn't work. Despite Zhang Yi being furious at being blackmailed in this way, he listens to the man's demands. This mansion relies on security cameras, alarms, digital locks, and other things. The man threatens that if he disables these, at any moment he could be attacked in his bunker. The chubby guy says he must deliver everything requested to his address at Villa 302. If Zhang Yi tries anything, he will know, and he will fulfill the threat of leaking all his secrets. After hanging up the phone, he gets so angry that he goes to the living room to get some water and calm down next to his wife. Jokir asks, "What's going on? Why is he so nervous?" Zhang Yi tells her everything. His location has been discovered, and how the hacker threatened to leak his information. Now they are vulnerable. His girlfriend mentions that gossip about famous people is common and often lacks credibility, but when it's about such specific information regarding someone who isn't famous, this hacker poses a danger to them. Zhang Yi says he wanted to kill him right away, but perhaps their data will still be leaked even after defeating this guy. She tries to think of a solution. Jokir mentions that in the past, technology companies would go as far as to hire people to eliminate hackers to prevent their data from being leaked, but these people always left a way for the information to leak in case something happened to them. With this, Zhang Yi is sure this person must also have such a precaution, so just killing him won't be enough. For sure, their evidence will leak out. Jokir then says they've thought enough for today. It's best to relax a bit. However, he insists that this problem cannot be put off. Yang Mi passes through the room, heading towards the cultivation room. As she is famous, the protagonist explains the problem to her and asks for her opinion. Yang Mi says this is exactly like people spreading rumors about famous people on the internet. Then suddenly Zhang Yi has an idea. If he does something so that when the information leaks, it will be treated as just a rumor. The two confusedly ask what he intends to do. He says he'll prepare first and then explain. Going to his control room, the hacker calls him, asking if he has separated the supplies. Zhang Yi angrily says that if it weren't for the information he has, he would kill him right now. On the other end of the phone, the hacker starts laughing. "If anything happens to me, your information will automatically be sent to everyone's phone in the city within 24 hours. You'd better think carefully about the consequences." At that moment, Zhang Yi is certain that he has 24 hours to act, so he says the man is tough and he will cooperate with him, and then he hangs up the phone. The protagonist's plan is to spread rumors about the Walmart theft through all media channels. By spreading rumors, he will bury the truth in a sea of lies, so no one in the city will believe it. After spreading false information, Zhang Yi stretches, grabs his backpack, and says it's time to take out the trash once again. He puts the backpack in the designated location and moves away to a considerable distance. He hides behind a tree with his rifle, aiming where his target will soon be. He sends a message to the hacker saying he has already delivered what he promised and left. However, even after a while, there is no response, and no one comes out to pick up his backpack. After waiting for a long time and seeing no sign of the person leaving to pick up the backpack, he thinks about calling the hacker or sending a message asking if he has already picked up the supplies. However, he changes his mind. If he asks if he has picked up the supplies, it may raise more suspicion. So more time passes, perhaps hours, and finally the door opens and someone tries to pick up the backpack. Zhang Yi has never pulled a trigger with such determination in his life as he does now. In an instant, a laser pierces the man's head. He rushes to the scene, and to ensure his enemy is neutralized, he shoots him a few more times. Then he enters the house to search for things and notices a notebook. His idea was to destroy it right away, but surely it must contain important information that he can access later, so he decides to store everything in his storage space. Now, everything is done, and he leaves. Zhang Yi returns home relieved, stretching in his comfortable house. This time Jokir made the food. As he is served by the two girls, he asks if they received messages on their phones. They say yes, and show some messages about a Walmart warehouse theft. He tells them that's what he did. He spread dozens of messages with false information, and when the true information leaks, it will be lost amidst a bunch of lies. In the control room, he programmed these messages to be sent daily for a while. Impressed by this, Yang Mi says he's amazing. She recalls that it was common among stars who were exposed due to some scandal to be forgotten if another famous person was exposed for something later. He did something similar to that. The girl thinks that besides being handsome, he's very intelligent. Jokir asks, what if there's still a risk of people coming after them here? Isn't it still dangerous? Zhang Yi is silent for a while, and then Jokir says she doesn't doubt his methods, but in Tianhui City, there are several people who deal with technology like the hacker, and others could also hack into the security system of their house. Zhang Yi agrees and says that indeed, unless the world returns to the Stone Age, they run this risk. The two girls, upon hearing that they are constantly at risk, even behind the security system, become scared. But Zhang Yi says they can solve this in another way. However, just thinking that he might be attacked unprepared leaves a bitter taste in his mouth, so he says this safe haven will become even safer. Zhang Yi tells the girls that he is confident and can keep this place safe, but they can't just sit around. For some reason, the redhead becomes shy thinking about something. Zhang Yi, unsure if she's that mischievous, gives her a smack on the head and says they'll set traps to reinforce security, not rely on technology. Zhang Yi explains that this bunker was prepared for large-scale threats like bombs and airstrikes. However, there isn't much security against attacks by people as he would like, so they will prepare defenses against people trying to invade the place. The two beauties, excited, say they will do anything he asks. Zhang Yi takes out from his storage space a pile of nails and wood. With this, they will make traps. They'll nail nails into wood and bury them in the snow. He also explains how other traps will work. While they manufacture them, he thinks that after realizing there are traps, they might start using equipment to dig up all the traps. It was thinking about this that he had another idea. They started placing some traps, and Zhang Yi buried some explosives. If you try to dig this up, you'll be eliminated. He also hides grenades with tied lines, and people passing by dragging things to unearth the traps will be blown up too. Finally, after much effort, they made good protection in the areas around their mansion. Returning home, Yang Mi asks when invaders are coming so she can see the traps in action. Zhang Yi asks if she's crazy, it's better that they never need to use them. Sitting on his couch, he says that most people with common sense won't try to attack a fortress at a time when everyone wants to keep intruders away. Only then does she understand. It's better to have these traps as a precaution only. Before she realizes it, Zhang Yi is already making another security mechanism, even though they have digital locks. He prefers to have mechanical locks as well, so he can lock the door and no one can open it from the outside. Quickly, the front door now has 3 times more security. Yang Mi begins to be sure that joining this guy was the best thing she did. Surely she will have a much safer life than anywhere else, and also very pleasurable. Even with these measures, Zhang Yi says it would be good to have someone who is great at internet and security with them, so they could be sure that the digital security of the house would be truly secure. Yang Mi comments that if Shinshin were here, it would be great. Jokir then asks if Shinshin was living in the city and if she should be alive. This girl is Yang Mi's sister and a computer prodigy. Because she is wheelchair-bound, she loves computers and technology. The two girls living with him are beautiful, and it's no wonder they resemble each other. They're cousins. Interestingly, they themselves mention another cousin who's a technology expert. Perhaps she could take care of the house's security. The first thing Zhang Yi wondered is if this girl is as pretty as the other two. And you know what? She's wheelchair-bound, but for him, that doesn't matter at all. What matters is being beautiful for him to engage in mischief. Hearing this, Zhang Yi asks how they can find her. Yang Mi says they haven't heard from her in a while. She doesn't answer their calls. She hopes her sister is alive and safe. Zhang Yi suggests that maybe she's too smart to want to talk to them, and that's why she hasn't responded. The girl gets angry at this. He continues, saying that perhaps everyone in her family are geniuses, and she's the only one without any qualifications. Yang Mi gets mad again at the protagonist for being mean. He says it's okay. At least she's beautiful, and that's as valuable as being smart. However, at this moment, they have more important things to worry about in the coming days. He spent the next few days training his new archery skill, and it seems now he can reinforce his projects and shoot targets with more precision. This new skill he might be able to use on his own body. Upon testing, he realizes that he might be considered invincible now. However, with the little use he made of it, his stomach growls with hunger. Apparently, the more powerful the ability, the more it consumes his body's energy. So, I wonder how much energy it takes to put things in another dimension. If energy is needed to use his powers, he who has an unlimited food supply can use as much power as he wants, while other people who don't have as much food won't be able to use their powers freely. In a secret defense location, the head of the facility is concerned about the military base's electrical energy limitation. His secretary approaches him with the reports and informs that they received the analysis of recent information. According to her, various pieces of information about a supermarket robbery that happened months ago were reported, but among the messages, one is special. She mentions a man named Zhang Yi as responsible for the theft of a large warehouse. The report regarding this Zhang Yi indicates that he was a warehouse supervisor and the main suspect in the theft of supplies. Hearing that the young supervisor was responsible for planning a robbery that even the police couldn't uncover, the man doubts and belittles the protagonist. He asserts that this information is also undoubtedly false. However, at the insistence of his employee, he decides to send people to investigate this Zhang Yi's base. Now, in another location, in the castle where the otaku who lost to Zhang Yi resides, he cries and tastes defeat. Chun thought he had godlike powers, but unfortunately, he has just discovered that he's not the protagonist of this world. He wonders if he's merely a mere supporting character, while Zhang Yi is the true protagonist, blessed by God. As he lamented, Chun also received on his phone the leaked report mentioning that Zhang Yi is responsible for the theft of goods from a large warehouse months ago. This piqued his interest. Chun conducted some research and found out that Zhang Yi is associated with a past cargo theft, so considering how he faced him, he could have used those same powers to rob the warehouse. Chun deduces that Zhang Yi has something related to space, and that he can put things in an alternate space. Realizing how absurd this ability would be, he becomes sad again, and lies down on the bed, feeling weak compared to the protagonist. Speaking with his wife, Chun asks if Zhang Yi is the protagonist of this life, and if he's a villain or just a supporting character. Against that person, Chun absolutely couldn't win. He then thinks whether it would be better to try to befriend him instead of facing him. Content with this idea, he decides to warn the villagers. Rushing to his grandfather, he asserts that that person is very powerful, and they shouldn't confront him. He tells everything everything he knows, how Zhang Yi is powerful and can nullify his abilities. Moreover, he must have an even more incredible ability. So, Chun says they should avoid Zhang Yi's area and find ways not to confront him. The otaku Chun talks about the recent leaked news that the protagonist was a warehouse supervisor at Walmart who stole all the goods. He has the power to keep all that under his possession, but instead of convincing the old man that Zhang Yi was too powerful to face, it only motivates him further. The old man's thought is, if they could steal what the protagonist has, they would never go hungry for a long time. Reluctantly and with fear, Chun says they're crazy, but the old man underestimates him, saying he was just a supervisor. What could he do against the entire Shu family? Meanwhile, everything is calm in his comfortable home. Zhang Yi is eating with his wives. While Young Mi was saying something, she hears a noise at the window. Zhang Yi says it's okay and goes to check it out. He goes to the window to look. Using his binoculars, he notices many people approaching his house. He takes out his rifle to observe better. His intention is simply to let his traps do their job. One of them steps on the first trap and feels a lot of pain. Another person tells them to help him and take him back. The old leader of the tribe warns that there may be hidden traps. Everyone needs to find them and be careful. As the men advance with sticks searching for the traps, they finally approach Zhang Yi's house. With the sticks, they manage to track the traps and advance without problems. One of them picks up the traps, and when he crosses a grenade line, an explosion among them shocks everyone. Even those who weren't caught in the explosion directly were hit by the shrapnel. Due to the pain of these injuries, they roll on the ground, and more bombs are activated. After a series of explosions and running, many people were caught in the nail traps or explosions. Now everyone was afraid and retreating. What could they do to advance safely? The men question the tribe's leader. What can they do without his grandson? They won't be able to attack and defeat that person. Cornered, they wonder why the leader's grandson isn't here. He has superpowers and should help. Meanwhile, Zhang Yi observes everything with his rifle and other high-tech equipment to see precisely what they're doing. The old man remembers his grandson's advice not to confront the protagonist. With no choice, the leader shouts for all to hear, questioning why they can't defeat just one person. These people have grown accustomed to relying on others. They must fight with their own hands to get what they want. Together, they must secure the luxuries within that house. He hands a spyglass to the men to see the prize, along with plenty of food for them to enjoy as an extra reward. As they confirm by looking, indeed, what's inside is very tasty. Yet, even with so many rewards before them, they doubt if they can fight without the leader's grandson present. The old man angrily shouts that if they fail, they are nothing but useless. With this motivation, they decide to use tricks to disable the traps and bombs from a distance. Slowly but surely, this tactic starts working, and they edge closer to Zhang Yi's secure house. The men were confident that they were now safe. The girls watch everything apprehensively from the window. Yang Mi feels sorry for how many will die and if they'll be okay. Meanwhile, Zhou Kier says they're idiots and don't realize they're no match for her boyfriend. At the right moment, Zhang Yi remotely triggers the bombs, exploding them all at once. This destruction, unlike the grenades, was precise, and most of them were caught in the blast and remained in that state. With a somber look, Zhang Yi says they should have turned back when they realized there were traps. Now that they decided to advance, he doesn't lament the death of dozens of enemies. The devastation was so great that even Zhou Kier, who was previously excited, felt sorry for these people. Yang Mi isn't accustomed to Zhang Yi's actions. Seeing people in pieces, she vomits. Zhang Yi observes coldly and remarks that those who die instantly are lucky. Those who linger in agony are unlucky. The elders who were behind are terrified. Almost all are lifeless. The leader falls backward, saying that person is a demon. He must be an evil demon to do this to them unfairly. He screams in despair. Everyone died because of his orders. He only wanted supplies for his people. This wasn't supposed to happen. Zhang Yi puts away his rifle and takes his bow and arrows that he's been practicing with. Using his new abilities, he shoots 3 arrows simultaneously, perfectly piercing the foreheads of 3 people. Triple headshot. More and more arrows are fired, and they all accurately take down the enemies. The old leader, seeing more dying, slaps himself and says it's his fault. Then he asks Zhang Yi to finish him off too. The protagonist was about to fulfill his wish, but an ice whirlwind obscures his vision, and the arrows reach. Without concern, Zhang Yi retrieves his rifle. With it, he can hit anything from a distance. The otaku shouts for everyone to flee while he maintains an ice barrier. People start to retreat with the wounded, while Chun remains determined. Zhang Yi stays calm and says he has another idea. He grabs a vest and tells his wives he'll be back soon. Chun was convinced everything was fine, but a snowmobile comes quickly with a madman shooting at everyone from the window. The desperate people running have no chance. Even Chun's life is at risk now. One of them helps the otaku so he can join the retreat. Zhang Yi pursues them by car, getting close to them again and then shooting from the window once more. Chun starts to feel the fear that perhaps no one will survive. He shouts for them to abandon the bodies they're carrying to bury them later. By reducing their weight, they could be faster, though reluctantly, as burying their dead is an important tradition for them. They decide to do as he commands. They toss the bodies out. Even though Zhang Yi has to dodge the bodies, he still manages to be faster and land double headshots on several people. Chun now has to flee. He's scared. An idea crosses his mind. He realizes he could do something to stop the car. This time, he uses his power to crack the ground in the car's path, causing it to get stuck in the ice. Zhang Yi still tries to shoot more people as they flee until they're too far. He says that now these people know they're powerless against him. They'll never think of coming back. He pulls his car out of the hole, goes among the bodies, and returns to his wives. Back at his house, while Young Mi is stunned by what happened, Zhou Kier is calm and asks what happened. Did he manage to defeat the one with special abilities? Zhang Yi explains that no, that person was clever and managed to escape with a few others. Chun returns to his tribe with a few survivors. The people from his own tribe start to judge him because he wasn't in the fight from the beginning. Everyone died. If he had been with his people, they would have had the supplies from that house. One of them tells the otaku to go with him to the village chief's house. Before he enters, a girl blames the otaku. It's all all his fault. If he had gone with them earlier, their husbands and children wouldn't have died. The elder tells them that this isn't the time to argue about it. He tells the otaku to come in because his grandfather is calling him. The tribe leader tells Chun to come closer. The old man says that the blame for so many injuries lies with him. The weight of the deaths of so many members of Shu village must rest on him, not on Chun. His grandson warned, but the old man was arrogant and led everyone into battle. If they're going to blame anyone, blame the old man, not his grandson. Crying, the old man says he entrusts the Shu family to his grandson and that he's ready to die now. The old man, saying he's also tired, dies. At that moment, all the residents come rushing in. The leader they loved so much has just passed away. As he leaves, Chun thinks about his grandfather asking him to take care of the family. Chun doesn't know how to take care of himself, let alone everyone else. Confused, not knowing what to do, he notices a girl leaning against the wall. Approaching her, she asks if he's the real brother Chun. He blushes and looks foolish, saying yes. And who is she? The girl says her name is Shu Lili, and thanks to him, her father survived and returned from that last battle alive. He feels embarrassed and says it's not that big of a deal. However, this makes Chun realize that he shouldn't blame himself for the deaths of other people. In fact, he's a hero and saved several people. Her father couldn't come to thank him, but she came in his place. Some people recognize his worth. He says it's alright, they're from the same village and should always help each other. She leaves, and he stays behind, his heart pounding. Has the otaku's heart been hooked by 3D for the first time? In the innocent's mind, he was already thinking about the children they will have together. Have you gone crazy? Returning home, he thinks of a way to protect his village from the protagonist. Chun now knows he's the real danger. Racking his brains over it, the otaku comes up with a plan and is about to put it into action right away to protect the village people and his future girlfriend.
Yeah, boy.
We go back to the protagonist preparing more traps to replace the ones already used. His thought is that as soon as he gets a chance, he'll finish off all those who came to attack him. Then, back inside, Zhang Yi is exhausted from so much work, so the two girls come to help the legendary pervert relax. I didn't understand where Joke here wanted to massage, but I think it should be nice. During the relaxation time, Zhang Yi sees his phone ringing. He picks up his Xiaomi and wonders who it could be this time. Hello, who's this? On the phone, the person says their name is Chun Chunlei from Shu Town, but that doesn't matter. He explains that thanks to the protagonist, he met his beloved, so he wants a chance to reconcile with him. Zhang Yi questions if these people from Shu Town tried to attack him before. Chun says yes, so the protagonist immediately asks, now that you realize you can't beat him, you want to make peace? The otaku agrees that it's their fault. Indeed, his people were hasty and attacked him. So, as an apology, Zhang Yi can make a request to Chun, anything, and he'll do it. Only now does the protagonist ask who he is to speak on behalf of Shu village. Does he represent the people of this village? And if he says yes, how can he prove it? Zhang Yi, confidently in the best place in the world, then says he's the person with powers who fought Zhang Yi twice already. Surprised by this, the protagonist says he now accepts to negotiate and asks again, can he make any request? Chun says yes, anything. So Zhang Yi says what he wants. I want you, Chun. In the protagonist's mind, he wants to recruit the otaku and use his powers, but in the degenerate otaku's mind, he thinks Zhang Yi wants his naked body. Big brother, I don't like men. No, you idiot, I'm interested in your powers. If he really wants to reconcile with Zhang Yi and prevent him from attacking his people, before that, he has to prove he's qualified, so they have to meet in person. The otaku didn't want this at all, but Zhang Yi says it's either this, or he'll destroy his people. Chun doesn't want to meet the protagonist, arguing that if he leaves his people alive in the future, they can unite to face an external enemy if necessary. Please, let's make a deal without me having to come to you. Zhang Yi responds that the biggest enemy is Shu village now. He stands up from the couch and says, if he doesn't do this, they will be my enemies. It all depends on the otaku now. Without waiting, Zhang Yi warns that he must come to his house at 2:30 this afternoon, and then he hangs up without waiting for a response. The otaku falls to his knees, thinking he's dead now. He's going to die in his prime, just when he was planning to fulfill his desires with his new love. Meanwhile, Zhang Yi thought that with the otaku's power, he has unlimited potential. He can do many things, and he never thought about it. It's certain that this power is better than Uncle Yu's power. He'll decide on the spot whether it's better to make this guy his ally, or to eliminate him. Still tired from setting up the traps earlier, he goes to his room and sleeps reading a book. Sometime later, Yang Mi goes to him, saying she's here to keep him company. Embarrassed about what he might want to do, Zhang Yi just says he needs a better pillow. A few fragrant hours later, Zhang Yi was at his post with his rifle. He watches Chun arriving alone. From here, he could eliminate him. However, seeing the kid slip and fall on his own, he thinks, this guy can't be so threatening. Then he falls again. Watching this behavior, Zhang Yi changes his mind and decides he'll at least talk to him. When the otaku reaches the front of the house, he calls to say he's here. He can't proceed because there are too many traps. He'll end up dying. So it's better for Zhang Yi to come to him. Arriving at the location, the otaku says he's Chun and is here to negotiate with the protagonist. As he asks, Zhang Yi makes it clear, initially, everything started because his people attacked, so his people owe him a debt. Chun acknowledges that, yes, this is true. He's here to ask for his forgiveness. Zhang Yi wants to know who ordered the attack on him. That person must die before they start negotiating. The otaku reveals that it was his grandfather, the village leader, and he already died due to the attack. Zhang Yi, thinking this was too easy, asks if the otaku doesn't want to avenge his grandfather and the others who were killed. Chun responds that his parents died when he was a child. His grandfather was the only important person to him, and he already died as a result of his own actions. Furthermore, Chun feels no resentment or sadness for the deaths of the other villagers. Throughout his life, he was reclusive and only stayed in his room with a computer, never having contact with others. Now unable to contain his excitement, Chun says he admires Zhang Yi. It was incredible how he fought against everyone. Zhang Yi, after hearing all this, says he understands the otaku's side. However, he affirms that he hasn't forgiven them for what they tried to do. The price of his forgiveness forgiveness? Is the otaku working for him? Chun wanted to hug Zhang Yi, but he says not yet. He has more rules to say first. From now on, Chun must obey all his orders without questioning anything. Then the otaku's perverted mind makes him ask if Zhang Yi wants his body. Stop being stupid. Zhang Yi takes out an action figure from his storage space. This will be his reward. If you work for me, you can earn even more of these things. In addition to ensuring Chun's family safety, he can reward him with something Chun values highly. Now they must do the first task. Inside the car, the curious otaku asks if the action figure can also control time inside his storage space. Is your power capable of that too? This question makes the protagonist think that maybe going back 3 months in time is part of his power. Maybe he controls time and space. After speeding through vast snowfields, they arrive at the location where the otaku's power will be put to the test. Using his snow power, he manages to, after minutes of maximum effort, clear a path to a gas station completely buried in snow. Zhang Yi immediately thinks, with Chun's powers, it should be even easier to obtain resources for him to store. As a reward, he gives Chun a chocolate, knowing that the user's power depends on his energy. Zhang Yi goes into the gas station to get everything inside, and after a while in there, he comes back. Chun says he's amazing. His power is the best of all. Being able to store everything he wants is perfect for current times. Zhang Yi affirms that the chubby guy also has a great power. He never thought of using his power to dig up things buried by the snow before. Heading back to the car, Chun says he never even thought of leaving his room. He was always too busy dating his wives. To reward his work, Zhang Yi says that as long as he obeys, he'll do well. This backpack full of food is his reward for today only. Very happy, Chun didn't expect so much. He swears he'll follow him forever. On the way back, they now have a bit more intimacy. Zhang Yi asks how the otaku discovered his powers. Ashamed, Chun recounts that after his parents died, he became very sad, immersed himself in the 2D world, and masturbation. Once, after more than 26 times, he thought he was going to die, but the next day, he was alive and had his powers. Zhang Yi covers his face in embarrassment. He never thought someone would awaken after nearly dying 26 times. He says from here on, Chun should return to his village alone. The reason is that his car can't go any further because it's a frozen lake. Before leaving, Zhang Yi asks him to be careful. In the post-apocalyptic world, many things become dangerous, including his own people. While the otaku goes home, the protagonist alone in his car says the kid is a good person. Returning home, the man who is the new village leader scolds Chun for going to deal with Zhang Yi alone. Even though he said it was okay and he knew how to negotiate, the leader was not satisfied. Upon learning that the outcome of the negotiation was cooperation rather than revenge, the old man becomes angry with him. The old leader points and says that it's Chun's fault that so many died. Now he wants to take credit by making friends with the enemy and saying he's protecting the village. The chubby guy tries to explain that he promised his grandfather he would protect the village, and this was the way he managed to prevent Zhang Yi from attacking their village in revenge. The man says it doesn't matter. He's now the new leader of the Zhu clan, so Chun's actions must be consulted with him first. Chun can't do things on his own. The old man also says he wants what's best for everyone. He was only not expelled from the village because the old man defended him, so now he's in debt. From now on, he must pay for his sins. He yells, asking if he understood the message. Understood? Understood? Chun agrees that he did. The old man orders him to go home to recover and wait for new orders. The old leader says again not to act on his own again. Without wasting time, the old man sent a message to the village residents group. Don't worry, I'm in contact with Zhang Yi to ensure our safety. We're no longer in danger. The other people then praise the sixth leader, saying he's amazing. They should have made him clan leader from the beginning. With this, the old man says that such a young loser who never got any real girls can't beat him. Zhang Yi returned home and told his two girls what happened. Thanks to their agreement, Chun's people will no longer be a risk to them. Yang Mi says that this is brilliant and was a good choice. Zhou Qir asks if the girl is scared of them. Yang Mi says no, she just didn't want to see any more senseless bloodshed. If things continued, it could get dangerous. Zhou Qir, who is used to this, says that Yang Mi is fearful. She hugs Zhang Yi and says that he's incredible and can defeat whoever he wants. Yang Mi shouldn't doubt that or be afraid. Zhang Yi, on the other hand, defends the idea that it's good for them to have these people around for when new enemies appear in the future. They can be useful. Now that this problem has been resolved, Zhou Qir says they should celebrate. She goes to the bar to get some drinks. Zhang Yi says he's not used to drinking much, so just a little. Meanwhile, Yang Mi will cook for them. Zhou Qir gets the drinks, Yang Mi makes food, and sometime later, the two of them are passed out, and Zhang Yi, who doesn't usually drink much, is fine. The two of them slept, Zhang Yi with lust, saying it's great. Yang Mi opens her eyes and feels a kiss on the mouth, then on the neck. She tells him they can't. Zhou Qir is here and will see them. Zhang Yi goes down, and she holds back from making noise. The next day, the otaku sends a message to the protagonist. Check out the otaku's photo, guys. Chun says he's bored. It's been a long time since they went on a mission. He even suggests they should form a team of 5 people, each wearing a different color like the Power Rangers. Zhang Yi, embarrassed by this guy, starts to wonder if it's really a good idea to ally with such a crazy person. Nervously, the protagonist asks Chun if he doesn't have anything better to do all day. He says unfortunately not. It was just a bit of intimacy, and Chun started sending 200 messages a day. Zhang Yi just started ignoring everything he said and replying without much thought. While the protagonist is on his computer, he sees that Yang Mi is doing her work in the garden perfectly. It seems like everything is going well, but it crosses Zhang Yi's mind. What if they get hacked again? This problem keeps bothering his mind. How can he solve it? As he thinks about this problem, the two girls are in the room discussing. Yang Mi wants to help Xin Xin, who is wheelchair bound, but Zhou Qir says Zhang Yi wouldn't do that. He wouldn't put himself at risk for things that aren't for his benefit. Because of this, Yang Mi says that to convince Zhang Yi, who is very cautious, she will use her most powerful weapon, her body. Zhou Qir scoffs and says she just wants to seduce her boyfriend and is making up excuses. It's not for Xin Xin. Shinshin. It's not like that. Jokir goes after the girl, saying she knows about the things they're secretly doing. She questions if her cousin isn't ashamed to do this. Suddenly, Zhang Yi appears in the room asking what's going on, why so much excitement on the bed without him there. They even say that this is a family matter, but he sits next to them and says the three of them have no more secrets. He asks if they're worried about someone in their family. Jokir responds that since the snowstorm started, she lost contact with her family and doesn't know if any of them are alive. Yang Mi says it was her family that contacted her. The protagonist asks if they contacted her to take Yang Mi with them. She says no, so she's sad because they didn't want to take her with them. Yang Mi explains that, in fact, the person who contacted her is in danger and needs to be safe, so they're secretly discussing how they're going to convince him to go save someone who has nothing to do with him. Yang Mi then begs him to help. This is the only family they have. Jokir agrees that it has nothing to do with him, but it's their family, and if she dies, they'll feel guilty of the rest of their lives. Besides, his wife's family is his family too. Zhang Yi asks again to make sure. Are you asking me to go out there and risk myself for someone else? He reminds them that their information has been exposed. Many other people know that he has many resources here, so this place is a target. Leaving here means leaving it unprotected. He had decided and was leaving the room when they crawl over, begging him to change his mind and think it over. Jokir says that if he does this, she can ask for anything, and she'll accept it. Whispering in his ear, she says anything at all. It can even involve her and Yang Mi together. Gentlemen, I inform you that Zhang Yi changed his mind. He asks if she's sure about this. The two, embarrassed, say they agree. Yang Mi sighs and says that in this cold weather and with so much snow, a wheelchair-bound person can't even move freely. She gets sad just thinking about it. Zhang Yi asks if they're talking about Shinshin, the one with technology skills. The 18-year-old girl has her legs paralyzed and is a computer genius. Zhang Yi affirms that if this girl is so important to them, then she's important to him now too. Jokir is impressed. So does that mean her boyfriend has a good heart? He really loves them to care about their wishes. Yang Mi thanks him happily but says they think poorly of him. He's not a bad person. He genuinely appreciates the girls he has. Impressed, they remark that he always seems like someone cold and with a frozen heart. Yang Mi remembers she'll pay off this debt to him and gets closer, puts her hand in a place they like and says, this is the beginning of repayment. The next day, because things got hot late yesterday, the three of them talk again. He asks about the wheelchair-bound girl. Jokir says it's better for Yang Mi to say, Shinshin is trapped in Tianqing Academy. It was the best college in town. People who study there have been attending since kindergarten, so it was a place where many geniuses live. Zhang Yi's doubt is how a wheelchair-bound person survived in a college for months. Yang Mi explains that the college has its own market system, so there should be plenty of supplies in the area since the students lived there. The protagonist asks why Yang Mi only communicated with her now. She doesn't know, but she can try calling to find out more. However, the number in question is not available. Please try again later. Yang Mi has been trying to contact her several times and can't anymore. Jokir jokes that Shinshin must have changed her mind about asking for help from her airhead sister. Zhang Yi wants to know the distance from the academy to this place they are. Perhaps because of the distance, the phone lines don't work. The academy is more than 22 kilometers from here, and because of the blizzard, it's likely that they can't call from that far. It's a miracle that she managed to call once. But still, Zhang Yi also says that Jokir may be right. He tells them to go to the control room. Maybe they can get in touch over the internet. He says that this phone is the best one currently available. On the first attempt, the call is answered. But the connection is bad. They hear a lot of noise and screams saying it's dangerous. Zhang Yi asks what's so dangerous, and then they hear shouts saying, the monster, the monster. The noises coming from the phone sounded like a fierce monster, and then the call dropped. Initially, the protagonist thought it was a simple rescue mission, to go to the location and come back. However, he already knows in advance that there's something very dangerous there. Perhaps it wouldn't be a good idea to go to that place. His women insist that he doesn't change his mind. He already had his reward last night. Zhang Yi confidently says he won't change his mind. However, for that, he'll need his subordinates and their power. With Uncle Yu, the otaku, and him with their weapons, maybe it won't be dangerous. He picks up the phone and says he has a mission to rescue someone. Do you want to come with me? The otaku accepts and says he was really bored anyway. Later, while eating, Zhang Yi thinks that if he eats too much, it could affect his movements, but he also needs to eat enough to have maximum energy for his powers. In addition to preparing his physical form, he has to prepare his best weapons to face this unknown creature. He also informs his wives that for their safety, they will stay in the underground floor of the house. Yang Mi asks why, and Jokir, knowing what her boyfriend is like, says she shouldn't ask stupid questions. If he ordered and didn't ask, then it's to be done. He'll go alone, and if someone invades their house during that time, he's away. His wives will be protected inside the safest place in the house. Those doors no one can open. Understanding the situation, Jokir says it's okay and wishes him luck. Yang Mi says he must bring her sister home. Zhang Yi confirms that he'll make sure to bring her and all the wheels of the wheelchair here. As he leaves, he says in these dark times, he can't be careless with anything, especially with his wives. Bro, I'm here. Zhang Yi says they agreed to meet later, so why is he here already? Chun says he was afraid of being late, so he came early not to disappoint his brother Zhang Yi. They got into the car right away because it's very cold. Zhang Yi explains that they're on a mission to save a girl in a college far from here. Curious, Chun asks if she's important to him, and the protagonist says yes, it's something like that. We know what really convinced him wasn't the request from his wives that made him change his mind, but the fact that this girl knows a lot about computers at this moment when he needs someone to keep his mansion safe from hacker attacks. They speed up, and along the way, Zhang Yi gets annoyed with the otaku's conversation about a girl from the village who's in love with him, but doesn't have the courage to confess to him. Should he do it for her? To change the subject, Zhang Yi asks what the people in the village think about him cooperating with the enemy. Chun doesn't know how to respond. The situation isn't good. The protagonist clearly knows that his people don't like him having contact with those who killed half of their population. Shinshin, but he doesn't say anything about it. After a while, they finally meet the third member of the trio, Uncle Yu, who arrives on his snowmobile, saying it's been a long time since he's seen his nephew. He shows how healthy he is. His uncle exercises with his wife every day. Zhang Yi introduces the two who haven't met yet and tells them about each other's abilities. One of them is super strong and regenerates, the other can control snow in various ways. At first, the atmosphere is strange. A former army veteran, a recluse otaku, and a cheeky teenager who is our protagonist. This group would never have met in the normal world, but now they're going to work together on a rescue mission. Uncle asks what their mission is. Calling 3 awakened ones means it must be something very complex. Zhang Yi replies that it's not. It's just a simple rescue. The only complication is that there might be a fierce monster in the region where they're going now. The chubby one gets very scared and asks what kind of monster they'll face. So Zhang Yi affirms that just as they turned into mutants with powers, animals may have also turned into mutants. He doesn't know what this creature is like. Maybe they're humans in the form of monsters, or monsters in the form of humans. Uncle Yu says if Zhang Yi says they can, then they can. He agrees and says that with the 3 of them together, nothing can stop them. After taking the ice road and driving, we see the old location of Tianqing Academy. Soon, we see the situation of the survivors from the academy. They're trapped in a gymnasium. Other students revolt against Shinshin and ask, after so many died, how did she, being wheelchair-bound, manage to survive? She who is dragging others to death is a burden. They shout because they need to protect a disabled person. Others only wonder how they can live longer, while others mourn the deaths of those who have already passed away. One of the students noticed that Shinshin didn't show sadness or remorse for those who died, and points to her asking why she's still alive. The teacher shouldn't be helping her. She's dead weight. Some students discuss whether they should sacrifice her the next time the monster attacks. The bespectacled student agrees, saying they've already protected her enough. The other student ends the discussion, saying that's not the issue. The teacher doesn't leave anyone behind, so there's no point in discussing it. She's the one who protects them. Then, one of the students goes to Shinshin, who is far away from them. The girl approaches and coldly tells Shinshin that she should go to hell alone if the teacher won't let her go. Everyone shouldn't have the burden of carrying her. Crying, she doesn't respond. All the students behind her agree and shout from afar that she really should do it. The only person against it is her best friend, who steps forward, saying she has nothing to do with it. No one helped her. She was the only one who carried her friend around. The rich girl's argument is that she shouldn't speak up or say anything because she's rich, and the girl in front of her is just a poor person who got into college on a scholarship. Her friend says that everyone is equal and has the same rights. However, the arrogant girl argues that no, they will never be equal. She is richer and more powerful. She is more important. Shinshin only has any value because she comes from a highly rich and influential family, even though she is wheelchair bound. Now her position should be revoked because she is a burden to everyone. Finally, the critical girl says that she only defends the girl because she is rich and hopes that when this is over, she will have some reward for supporting this wheelchair-bound person so much. Upon hearing all this argument, Shinshin cries. After so much hatred, one of the girls leaves the crowd, walks among them, and goes to Shinshin and says they should be friends too. This girl only thought about the advantages she could have after the apocalypse. Everyone's discussion is interrupted when a window falls in the gymnasium. Suddenly, a giant paw appears through the window and grabs one of the people and drags them out of the window. It's so big that it can fit the person's entire body in its paw. The monster is a giant cat, licking its prey. It manages to fit it entirely into its mouth. Everyone screams from inside the gym, seeing this gruesome scene as they run quickly. Shinshin and her friend are left behind because of the wheelchair. They go to the door trying, but it's locked. The cat breaks the window and jumps inside with its prey still in its mouth, only half of it in front of everyone. It takes it out and finishes eating only the head and discards the body. It jumps in front of the other students as if it's intimidating them all. One of the students goes to Shinshin and pushes her forward, causing her to fall defenseless in front of the cat. Her friend, scared, wonders if she should save her. Shinshin, in front of the giant feline, is about to be the next to die. One of the students, noticing that the cat was distracted, tries to run out of the gym next to it. The cat, noticing the movement, changes its focus from Shinshin and crushes its prey on the ground. They try to crawl back, asking for help. The cat turns its attention to the other students. Then, her friend goes after her, trying to help her. The students behind say that the cat seems to like objects that are in motion. Shinshin seemed dead on the ground, so it ignored her. The same student shouts, "The cat is distracted now. Everyone run to the exit." They look back. The first hit student is lying on the ground, asking for help. They only say that for some to survive, others have to be sacrificed. As they run, the injured student remains motionless and says that if it depends on him, everyone will die with him. The cat turns its attention to the other students who are running and begins to crush other people. While the cat only played with its prey in its paws, its tail also managed to crush some students. One student screams in despair for help. Luckily for everyone, their teacher returns to the gym door. This is enough to get the cat's attention. That sword she feels is dangerous. The teacher tries to attack the cat, and it simply runs away. The cat knows the teacher is different and dangerous. So, the feline simply grabs one of the fallen prey and runs away. The teacher on guard duty goes to the exit and realizes that the cat really left, leaving giant tracks in the snow. It seems that the creature couldn't defeat the teacher, so something isn't normal about her. If she stayed here all the time, there would be no risk of attack, but she has to leave the gym to get food for them. And when this happens, the mutant cat attacks the gym. Among the victims and the wounded, the student who was previously arguing with Shinshin complains again. Why didn't this wheelchair-bound girl die in the attack? Every time this wheelchair-bound girl survives. How is that possible? A boy intervenes, saying it's okay. The teacher brought food. The cat left. He tries to give food to Shinshin, but the girl steps in, saying no. She doesn't deserve it. She's just dead weight. The teacher, tired of so much fighting and having to go outside outside to get food for everyone, doesn't interfere. She says that as long as they don't kill each other, she doesn't need to do anything. Let them fight. She needs to rest. Another girl, in despair, shouts, saying the world has ended. Why do they have to fight? There's no hope anymore. Everyone will die equally. Another student says no, he can save everyone. His father is an important leader of a very powerful company. Surely he will come to save them. Meanwhile, the protagonist arrived with his partners near the rescue site. Looking around, everything is covered in snow. How will they find the exact location of the academy? It seems everything is under the snow. Trying to call the girl, she doesn't answer. There's no signal. So, they'll have to search another way. The protagonist says that splitting up would be faster, but since there's a monster out there, they'll go together. This monster might be out there and defeat them separately, but not together. The girl has survived 2 months around here. A little longer won't be a problem. They return to the car and continue driving through the college campus until they find a building that isn't buried. Maybe they can access down there through here. According to the GPS, this is the astronomy center of the college. The dorms and cafeteria are north of here. It's not at this location, but if they enter through here, they can walk through the college. However, there's a risk of ice structures collapsing on them, so it's too dangerous to try. Before he finishes saying it's not safe, Chun was there trying to get into the place, and Uncle Yu was pushing him. Lucky for him, he's too big and couldn't get in. Zhang Yi notices a creature approaching. As he points his gun, he discovers it's a giant cat. The monster stood in front of him and didn't attack, even with him pointing a gun at it. Perhaps the creature has some kind of reasoning, said the protagonist. However, when Uncle Yu and the chubby guy returned, the first thing they did was attack the creature. In response, the cat became aggressive and attacked them. With no choice now, Zhang Yi decided he should attack too. With his body reinforcement power, he jumped over the creature and shot it in the head. He landed with great style behind it. Even with the shot, the creature kept advancing. Uncle Yu stood in front of the chubby guy, attacking with his body reinforcement power. A yellow light covered his body. He delivered a powerful punch to the cat's head. Even the ice structures below them were destroyed by the impact. With that, the cat staggered back from the blow, and Zhang Yi watched it, asking if this is a cat that grew up. Using his more powerful precision rifle now, he shoots the cat and wounds its face. The creature, angry, now turns into a ball of fur and rolls toward him. Terrified, Zhang Yi thinks the best alternative would be to make it go into his dimensional storage space. Due to its speed, maybe it would be possible. But the cat, sensing the danger, changed its course and escaped from the dangerous trap and headed toward the snow mountain. It made a loud impact noise and disappeared. Quickly it emerged from another hole and stayed at a distance, looking at them, roaring, as if it were angry. Drawing everyone's attention, the cat showed its backside as if mocking them and left. Uncle and the chubby guy wonder if the cat seemed like it was cursing them, as if it were a human being. They don't understand how the cat could be so big and capable of creating these passages so quickly. The otaku says that if this cat is here hunting like this, there shouldn't be any survivors alive in this school. However, Zhang Yi recounts that the cat, when it approached, wasn't aggressive and didn't seem like it was going to attack. Only after Chun and Uncle Yu attacked did the cat become aggressive. Zhang Yi asserts that this creature must have undergone some kind of mutation that made it giant and somewhat intelligent because the cat seemed to be aware of its actions. They observe the tunnel it dug and decide to descend through them. If this cat attacks the academy where the students are, following its trail is likely to lead them to where its easier prey reside. At the bottom of the hole, there are several bifurcations, various other holes that lead to places they do not know. They do not know the right path to follow and also run the risk of getting lost. Zhang Yi takes something from his dimensional storage that he can use to mark the path they follow so they can find their way back. They smell blood and decide that's where they should go. Zhang Yi questions if Chun is afraid. They are 3 against just 1 feline. The cat stands no chance. Additionally, he draws his desert eagle from his dimensional storage. This will be an efficient weapon. Uncle Yu, being a former veteran, reconnaisses and appreciates this beauty. Being more experienced, Uncle Yu goes ahead to lead. Back inside the gym, the teacher stands guard, waiting to see if the monster will return. She is exhausted, having not slept for days, to stand guard and fetch food for her students. Even though the teacher seems exhausted, the children complain that the food has run out again. The teacher should go out to look for more food for them. She questions what is better. If she goes out now, the creature might come back and attack. The student's response is that she should go as quickly as possible and try to come back faster with the food. The woman almost loses her patience, but keeps herself under control. She says she will go once more to fetch more food. After she leaves, they close the door, and everyone is alone again in the sports gym. The teacher outside says that if she encounters this cat, she will fight until they die together. Inside the gym, Karen asks Shinshin if she is okay. She says yes, thanks to her friend. The rich and arrogant student again says that once again, she's being a burden to her friend. Doesn't she ever get tired of being useless? Karen, the friend, tells the arrogant girl that she pushed Shinshin the last time the cat was here, so she owes an apology. Before they start a fight, the cat appears again at the gym window. They only see the paw coming in, and another person is crushed by the creature. The student who said before that he could save everyone runs and pushes another person back to be bait. With another swipe, another person is turned into pulp. While the desperate students flee, once again, the teacher returns to the gym and now has the chance to stick the sword up the cat's butt, but she prefers the head. The creature is wounded, and they start a fight in front of the students. While they were in a frenzied combat draw, the teacher sees 3 people arrive through the cat's escape route. Zhang Yi and his 2 companions arrive behind the tunnel and witness everything unfold. The teacher, noticing their presence, becomes hopeful and shouts for help against this monster. Chun was ready to attack, but Zhang Yi stops him. According to the protagonist, this woman is extremely skilled and managing to hold off the cat with just 1 sword. She surely is also a mutant with special powers, and at this moment, it's impossible to know if she's an ally or an enemy, so he decides to let the 2 creatures face off, the cat and the woman. Zhang Yi says they won't fight. They'll take another path to find the gym. Uncle Yu, watching from afar, says that this woman is truly dangerous. It wouldn't be wise to approach her. They leave through the tunnel. The woman, not believing they're backing off, shouts for them to help. Together, they can defeat the creature, and they don't care. They go around through another tunnel and manage to enter the gym's entrance. They walk towards the students, and soon, through the wheelchair and the red hair, Zhang Yi realizes who the girl Xinshin is. He says it's lucky she's alive, but before he can reach Xinshin, the boy steps in, asking if he came from the base of the Western Mountain and is a friend of his father. Zhang Yi, serious, questions, what Western Mountain? What place is this? The boy introduces himself. He's the class representative, and his name is Sheng Yu. He's from a noble family, so he should recognize him. The protagonist simply agrees, and wants to know about this base on the Western Mountain. The clever boy asks, if they're from another base, why are they asking about the base on the Western Mountain? But that would be strange, since the Western base is closer from here. With this statement, Zhang Yi has in mind that there should be other bases around here. He then asks the boy what he knows about the other bases besides the Western Mountain, and the reality is that the boy knows nothing, only what his father said, that these shelters exist. Ignoring the boy, Zhang Yi goes to Xinshin. The other students around, surprised, try to talk to Uncle Yu and the otaku. By the way, what could these girls and boys be asking Uncle Yu? Meanwhile, Zhang Yi finally reaches the wheelchair-bound girl, asking if she's okay and if she's indeed Xinshin. He introduces himself as Zhang Yi and knows her sister Yang Mi very well. She asked him to come and save her, and if Xinshin is willing to go with him. Without much thought, the girl says yes. Then, Zhang Yi prepares to drag her wheelchair and take her with him. However, before going, she says, wait, she wants a favor. He must stop that fight, prevent them from continuing to fight. The protagonist's thought is, he wants this girl to owe him a favor, so making this request would be a way to put her in his debt. If that's the case, Zhang Yi calls Chun and his uncle to do a job. As they head towards this battle, Zhang Yi notices the feline claws scattered around. Thinking they could be useful, he stores them in his dimensional vault. Then, following orders, Chun activates his powers and causes the ceiling to collapse on the teacher and the cat, separating them from the fight. It worked, but it leaves the teacher furious. She didn't want the fight to be interrupted, only for them to help eliminate the creature. Ironically, Zhang Yi says she should be thankful for it. However, the teacher points her sword, saying that was the first time she managed to corner the creature, and the three of them ruined it. Maybe she won't have another opportunity. Zhang Yi responds that he only wanted to help her, not kill the animal, nothing more. Besides, the protagonist explains that he only did it because one of his students asked him to. Angry, the teacher curses Zhang Yi and attacks. Confidently, he jumps back and shoots her right in the forehead with a desert eagle. However, what he didn't expect was for the woman to cut the bullet from the shot. She's even more powerful than he imagined. As she was about to strike him, Zhang Yi activates his dimensional space power and sucks the woman into his dimension. After completely sucking her in, he falls backward. He is aware that this is very dangerous, telling them not to approach. He spits the woman out of his dimensional storage and is very tired of staying there for just a few seconds. The protagonist mocks her for attacking someone who just helped her and says she's very dangerous and reckless. Zhang Yi takes his sword. For now, it will stay with him. Something that can cut bullets like that is very precious. Give me back my sword. Not a chance. He tells a student to help their teacher rest. She seems very worn out. After helping their teacher, Zhang Yi explains to everyone there that he came here only to take the wheelchair-bound girl as requested for them to retrieve her. The teacher asks why he can't take all the other students as well. The students around Zhang Yi say they're all wealthy and can pay whatever he wants if he takes them safely out of here. Zhang Yi repeats, he can't be responsible for people as important as them. If their families are rich, they'll send people to rescue them. The student who is angry at Xinshin decides this can't stand. She and other students decide to take the girl as a hostage, stating that if they are not taken together, Xinshin will die here. The teacher, frightened, calls them all idiots and reminds them that they are all classmates. Why are they doing this when there is such great danger outside? Despite the teacher's warning, the students persist. If they are not taken together, no one will leave here. Losing patience with them, the protagonist draws his police pistols and simply shoots down all the students who were holding Xinshin hostage. The teacher is astonished by this reaction. They are just teenagers. Zhang Yi calmly responds that young people who are capable of taking others hostage must accept the consequences of that as well. Zhang Yi's only surprise in this was that Xinshin wasn't at all frightened by what just happened. He goes to her, checks if she's okay, and asks if they can go home now. She answers yes, but only if her friend Karen can go with her too. Zhang Yi thinks about having one more girl to take care of. Why should he? That's what he thought, but he didn't say anything. However, Xinshin notices her savior's gaze and says she would be very useful to him. She is very intelligent. In this academy, there are two types of people. Those who are rich and pay to be here and are mostly incompetent, and there are those who enter with scholarships because they are extremely intelligent in their fields. Karen understands everything about mechanics, engineering. She would be perfect for building and fixing things. Curious about this explanation, the girl then pats her chest and says she can do all that indeed. Convinced, the protagonist says it's okay. He takes Xinshin and tells Karen to come with them too. Karen starts showing her proactivity and asserts that she can push her friend along the way herself. The other students around Zhang Yi shout that they are also very competent. They know how to drive luxury cars, manage money, and give orders to employees. The girl who tried to be friendly with Xinshin before steps forward and says that if the monster returns, everyone will be killed here. And if Zhang Yi's group hadn't hindered the teacher earlier, she would have been able to eliminate the creature. So, it's their responsibility to secure the students. This statement makes sense, but the conflict-solving machine of a protagonist in his hand says he doesn't care. He's leaving now, even if it takes more ammunition. As they leave, Xinshin says that among all the people, at least teacher Lian was good to her, and so she thanks her for everything. The protagonist then proceeds on his way. The teacher decides to make all the students follow Zhang Yi's group. Chun questions what they are going to do by following them. The protagonist simply replies that if he wants, he can take care of everyone alone. With his powers, he could bring the tunnel down on everyone. The frightened otaku responds that he wouldn't do something like that. Outside, the protagonist doesn't bother hiding his powers and retrieves his car and snowmobile from the dimensional warehouse. Uncle Yu and Chun go by motorcycle, and the rest go by car. He picks the girl up and takes her to the car. With the three of them inside, Zhang Yi accelerates his car and leaves the students behind. The students ask the teacher what they should do now. Outside, the giant cat could attack everyone. At this moment, the wealthy student says that his cell phone finally has a signal. Now he can contact his father. Returning to Zhang Yi and the two girls relaxing in the comfortable car, finally, a little warmth, he takes out water and food from his storage space for them to replenish their energy. Grateful, they accept the meal and say that the brother is amazing. Zhang Yi says it's actually Xin, who is really amazing. Not understanding this statement, she asks why this praise. They just met. Furthermore, she questions how she could be amazing. She's just a burden to everyone. If it weren't for Karen protecting her, she would never be alive here today. The protagonist rebuts and says it's not quite like that. She really is very intelligent. A wheelchair user surviving for so long isn't luck. For them to have survived in that place was because Xin has a secret. Karen doesn't understand this conversation and asks what they are talking about. Xin changes expression and acknowledges that Zhang Yi is very smart to deduce that. The protagonist realizes that there are many coincidences surrounding the girl, especially related to the monster. While Xin maintains a face of admiration, Zhang Yi talks about the girl's request to separate the fight between the cat and the teacher. It was as if she was asking to protect the monster and her teacher at the same time. Why protect the monster that brought terror to everyone? The adorable wheelchair-bound girl acknowledges Zhang Yi's intelligence. He got about 60% of the situation right. However, she's not that malicious. She didn't command the cat to attack anyone. She used to take care of a stray cat before the snow apocalypse happened. Karen, surprised, asks if that little cat they used to feed, Blossom, is this giant monster? The answer is yes. Xin thinks that's why the cat never attacked the two girls for real. She always fed and treated it well, so Blossom must recognize Xin and her friend. Now Karen understands why they were so lucky. Zhang Yi wants to know if it's just gratitude from the cat towards Xin or if there's something more. Because the cat always attacked all the students, but when it encountered the protagonist for the first time, it didn't attack. It seemed like the cat was intelligent. Xin once again acknowledges Zhang Yi's intelligence. She admits that she told the cat not to attack people coming from outside the academy, as they would be people coming here to save her. With this statement, Zhang Yi asks again, did she never command the cat to kill others who were mean to her? She replies, no, she would never do such a thing. The cat simply needed to feed, and the only available food was them. But the crazy girl asks if she's too cruel for thinking like that. Mischievously, the protagonist thinks no. He thinks exactly like her. He doesn't care about what happened to the students. Only Xin's and now Karen's well-being are important. In this cruel world, only those who have some value can survive. The redhead girl knows she has value to Zhang Yi, and that's why she came here and protected her from everyone. Moreover, now he knows Karen is useful to him too. The protagonist asks why Xin only contacted her sister now after a long time, as he makes a sharp turn in the car. Smiling, Xin says she never intended to contact her sister because of her. Her goal was Zhang Yi, so she contacted Yang Mi. This confuses him. How could her goal be someone she didn't know? The girl says she's the best hacker he'll ever know. Even before the apocalypse, she was curious about the Walmart robbery and researched everything about those involved. After the start of the global freeze, she was sure that stock supervisor was responsible. The recently leaked information only confirmed her theory. She used her sister to get him to come save her. Her entire plan was made just with that simple cell phone. She has all the information about what Zhang Yi did before and after the apocalypse. Now she admits she knows everything about the building's extermination. It was easy to access all the security cameras he asked to install. Someone requesting the construction of a fortress made her keep an eye on him. This revelation leaves the protagonist and me startled. This girl decided to monitor him since the news of the Walmart being robbed. She also says that if he hadn't had contact with Yang Mi or even Zhou Kier, she would have other ways to lure him here to save her, but she's glad he came on his own. Zhang Yi, in his thoughts, convinces himself that this girl is dangerous, so he must be careful. Something strange now is the fact that the little cat Blossom has been following the car since they left. He thinks that if he could tame this cat, he could be even more powerful. Meanwhile, the girls watch the little cat through the window. After driving for a while, they finally reach the refuge. Chun and his uncle also arrive. He rewards the two and tells them they can go back home now. He's going back inside his house. The warm air makes the girls really comfortable. Zhang Yi says that as long as they obey and help, he will help them too. Embarrassed, Xin asks if he'll need help with those things too. This question catches him off guard, so he doesn't respond. Karen doesn't even understand the underlying meaning in that question. Zhang Yi then tells the girl she's too young for now. She just needs to do her job as a hacker. Now everyone here is under her responsibility, and that's her only duty here. The protagonist admits that Xin is really adorable, but he already has Zhou Kier and Yang Mi to satisfy his desires. However, the young Loli's thoughts are whether he's dismissing the possibility of having her as a woman because she can't move her legs. Before the conversation continues, Zhou Kier comes running to meet her. Right behind her is Yang Mi, who was very worried and didn't know if her sister was okay. Xin says she was fine and not in danger. She only contacted her sister because she knew she was with Zhang Yi. It's him she's interested in. While this attention-seeking discussion goes on, the protagonist stands back, enjoying the two sisters vying for his attention. One of the most beautiful women in China and one of the smartest. How can they be so different? The girl's statement piques Jokir's curiosity about how she knows Zhang Yi. She explains everything about how she knew of his existence and introduces Karen, her best friend at the special school, who is a mechanic expert. Yang Mi says she's adorable. The head of the house tells Yang Mi to prepare dinner for everyone and arrange rooms for the new girls. After a while, it was the first hearty feast for the girls after months of difficulty in college. Zhang Yi asks Karen to help in the house. Initially, she thought wrong things. Maybe she didn't mind doing things in that sense. The protagonist asks if she can make weapons and ammunition. To do that, she says she would need the correct materials and machinery. If she has everything, she can do it. Satisfied with the girl's answer, Zhang Yi stands up and tells her to accompany him. He retrieves several mechanical machines and asks her to observe. Impressed that each of these machines would be worth millions of dollars, she lists all the necessary machines. If she needs more things, he can get them. Now only the materials are missing. Zhang Yi says he can help her organize everything, but she says he doesn't need to worry. She can do everything by herself. What kind of weapons could Karen make? He retrieves the teacher's sword from his dimensional warehouse for her to evaluate if she can make others like it. She's impressed with the quality and is honored to touch it. However, she reminds him that this isn't just any weapon. It's an ancient relic and a work of art. She can't replicate it. This sword is so well made that it can even cut diamonds. She returns the sword and explains that Miss Liang was rewarded with this sword for her services as a bodyguard for a very important person in the past. She values this sword more than her own life. This information gives the protagonist ideas for later. Afterward, they return to the dinner table to finish eating. They talk more about what Karen can do in the house. Later, they'll watch television. On the news, an important piece of news is finally told to the population. It is revealed that the cold calamity has no end date and its consequences are not fully known, but it is a fact that a large part of the world's population is no longer alive. In several places around the world, a state of anarchy has been declared. Laws no longer apply, and now everything is based on power. Armed groups and organizations use military power to gain control of regions and resources. Meanwhile, Xinxin feels jealous of the two girls around Zhang Yi. She wanted to be there too. Yang Mi then asks Zhang Yi's opinion if this is true. He confirms it and says that military organizations and groups will establish themselves and become his enemies, so the fight for resources will become increasingly intense. Xinxin agrees with everything and says that soon they will enter a period of great wars for territory and resources. This place will become a target for other people sooner or later. Because of this, Zhang Yi promptly takes the girl to where the supercomputer is. With this, she can control everything here, and with unlimited access to the internet, she can make magic happen. In a few moments, she's already getting familiar with the system and starts typing like crazy on the keyboard in front of her. When she finally finishes analyzing the system, Zhang Yi asks what she thinks. The security system was the best there was 10 years ago. It is still very powerful, but very outdated. Even though it was impenetrable decades ago, today a hacker can exploit vulnerabilities in this system and gain access to it. She says that several invasions of this system have been made in recent weeks. She estimates that in just one more month, they could have taken over the entire security system of the house. With this information, Zhang Yi is certain that the best choice he made was to take risks and go after this girl. He asks if she can remove these vulnerabilities that exist in the network. She says it's easy. In just a few minutes, she can solve all these vulnerabilities. In a few minutes, Xinxin claims it's done. Zhang Yi recognizes her talent once again and says that Xinxin is brilliant. Satisfied, the girl says that now is the time to counterattack. She herself will hack the network of those who tried to attack the internal network of this mansion. He questions if this isn't a risk. She can't leave traces behind. Xinxin replies that amateurs can be traced. She's not an amateur. Zhang Yi was increasingly pleased with the girl until Jokir appears and says they have a problem. A monster is at the doorstep. The giant monster is the giant cat. The protagonist, already knowing what it is, asks Xinxin what they should do. The cat must really like her and is here because it's concerned about Xinxin's safety. If that's the case, Zhang Yi says their goal now is to tame this creature. He takes Xinxin out of the security room. The protagonist calms the girls, and Xinxin goes to the window where the little kitty is. Sensing the cat is calm, the protagonist grabs Xinxin and says they're going out now to feed the cat personally. They approach, and the kitty remains calm. However, when Zhang Yi gets too close, it opens its eyes with a threatening tone. He tries to negotiate with the monstrous cat, using food from his dimensional warehouse. He tries to say that if she's a good kitty, she can have this. The kitty seems to ponder this and refuses to take the food. Xinxin reminds that the kitty is a street cat. Street cats are the most suspicious animals in the world. That's not how he's going to earn the kitty's trust. The protagonist then hands over the food and says that if the kitty promises not to attack the village on the other side, she can have the food. The smart kitty seems to understand. She agrees to eat the food and won't eat any humans from the village on the other side of the frozen lake. After this agreement is made, he returns with Xinxin to the house, and then
If you enjoyed this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon, and like the video. Thank you.